Hi guys, it's Monday, January 30th, and it's about that time. Almost time for dinner, so we gotta get cooking. So tonight, I'm using up the rest of the potatoes I have to make some baked potatoes. And what I have done is I've put a little oil on them after I washed them really well. I poked some holes and I put some butter. And one of the tricks we used to do many decades ago when I worked for our local senior services. We have in my county, I think we have more now, but back then I think we had 5 sites where seniors would come from different parts of the county, and we always had a hot lunch and things like that. We used to have activities. Sometimes we did field trips, stuff like that. And these are the same centers you would run your Meals on Wheels programs out of. Wonderful organizations. If you have time to volunteer, I wholeheartedly recommend it. You'll never regret it. It's just get to know some of the most salt of the earth kind of people you'll ever get to see and work and talk with and share with and learn a lot of history and things. So anyway, just giving a plug for to volunteer for your local Meals on Wheels. But one of the things we always did, I think we did it usually about once a month, we would do a baked potato and salad bar. And one of the tricks was, now we did wrap them in tin foil. I don't use a lot of tin foil. I have some opinions about that. So I'm using my cast iron skillet, which works just fine. I actually have a lid for this pan, which I will put on. But essentially you would do them individually in tin foil if you wanted to. But instead of putting salt on the outside of the skin, I learned this, I'll say it, I learned it from a Yankee. He was my boss, and he wasn't lying. It's pretty darn good. So this is not a Southern thing. He was actually from Chicago. So and that's where he was from. So this was his trick. But anyway, you take a little sugar and you just sprinkle it on your potatoes. Like I said, if you want to wrap them in full, you can. It's important that there's a little oil and butter. And I mean, that's a tablespoon. That's all I used. So you're not using a lot, but you're not using salt. You're using that. And you're going to bake them to make a baked potato. And the skin is so delicious. And the skin on a baking potato has the fiber. So you get a lot of nutrition. So this is why it's a good idea to do this, so you can kind of get your kids, hubby, whoever, to enjoy it. So just kind of spreading the goodness around. I'm going to put the lid on, and I'm going to bake these at 425, at least an hour. And so this is the first thing for dinner. This is the second thing for dinner. These are my collard greens that I picked yesterday, and my rutabagas. I cooked this last night. They are, oh my word, y'all, they are amazing. These collard greens went through a hard freeze. And when people tell you that they have a sweet flavor, they ain't lying. So good. Now, I've grown collard greens before, but never like I did this year that went through a freeze like that. So it's a game changer. So good. And I know I should get at least another picking, maybe 2. And I'm so excited, and I'm so glad I cooked them like this and that I didn't stir fry them like I was thinking about doing, because the rutabagas, this is just perfect right here. So we're having this. Here's my potatoes. I'm going to put my lid. That's going to go in the oven. I'm just going to reheat in the green pan, and then our protein for tonight will be chicken. I had some chicken. I was going through my freezer, and these were actually kind of down in the bottom of my chest freezer. I have some chicken breast and chicken legs, and I'm gonna roast these in the oven, and then whoever wants barbecue sauce, once they're done, they can put barbecue, or some of my kids just like them roasted. All right, guys, here's the chicken done. I've got the collards and rutabagas heated up, and our potatoes, see how they kind of busted open? That's how you know they're good. And so we're just gonna plate our food up and eat our dinner. This was what's for dinner on Monday, January 30th.
Okay.
It's January 31st, and this is what's for dinner. And I hope it's done, because it's been cooking for hours, because my oven is acting up. We don't know what's wrong with it. So
the broiler came on is why it looks like that on top, but it wasn't supposed to.
No. And that was the other pasta that Tim had, and
it looks nice on that one.
My bread got all messed up, and
well, I think it's delicious.
Underbaked. I do have a salad though.
I think it's delicious.
It's 9:45 at night, and this is what's for dinner.
Yes, but it's wonderful.
Okay. We'll see you tomorrow night. So, the problem is my beautiful, less than a year old Zline oven that is broke. And apparently it has a defect or something in the door. And essentially I think it's been this way the whole time, because we had issues when we first started the kitchen, or when we first used it after getting the kitchen remodeled. And but then we thought we found a way around, and I really haven't understood the weird uneven cooking and different stuff. Like on the back side it would get really done, and the front side of the oven not so much. And you know, just trying to get to know my oven. Well, apparently it's because the door wasn't closing all the way. It wasn't actually preheating like it was supposed to, and the bottom element has broken, burned out, I don't know, something. So they are going to replace our oven. Not sure when yet. But so far, I mean, John contacted them last night, and they were calling us first thing this morning and had us send pictures and things like that, and they diagnosed it from there. So but I have no oven, so I can't make quiche. And so tonight for dinner, we have an abundance of leftovers. And so we're eating leftovers. I'm gonna eat some leftover broccoli soup I made last week. John's gonna eat some leftover chicken and collards and stuff, and that's what we're going to have for dinner. The kids are gone. One's working, the other one's at school, and so they're cared for. And that's going to be an easy night for tonight. And I just have to say, it's interesting that God knows all these things. And as I was planning for my February menu, I was pulling a lot. It was interesting. I was finding recipes and pulling a lot of things for crock pot cooking and Instapot cooking. And so a large portion of my recipes for this month don't need an oven. Now, my bread baking is going to come to a halt because I won't have a way to bake bread. I don't have a bread machine, and I don't really want one. I've had one before, wasn't my favorite, and this will eventually get rectified. So if I was going to do cornbread, I can always do like hoe cakes or something if I feel like I have to have that. I can actually do that on top of the stove, or I can do it on our black stone griddle. As far as pizza night goes, that will be an adventure. We're going to test it out on Friday night. I have been watching videos on how to do a pizza on a black stone griddle. So we'll try it and I'll show you the process if it works or fails. But we're gonna try it. So I may have to adapt my recipes for the pizza nights if that doesn't work. But I think we can make it work. I've seen too many videos. If other people can do it, what one man can do, another man can do, or what one woman can do, another woman can do. So, so we'll be doing that. And I still have the cooktop still works fine. This is all the oven part that's messed up. So I have my cooktop, I have my Instapot. I do have my huge roaster pan that I do bone broth in. So I have some ideas I might use for that one as well. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's what's for dinner. And all right, guys, it is Thursday, February 2nd. It's taco night, but of course the oven doesn't work, so it's going to be a little bit different tonight. The meat, of course, I just have to reheat. It's already cooked. I thawed it out yesterday or last night. This is some rice. I got it going and some of my bone broth, and I found these black taco type canned beans on the shelf, so I'm going to do that to make my rice bowl. And so I'm going to heat that up, and then we're just going to use leftover salad from I think this was Tuesday night's dinner, so I'm just going to use this. I have this that I found when I cleaned out the fridge and it's still in date, needs to be used. We have salsa and some cheese, and I think I have some soft taco shells that the boys can eat because they probably will not do a rice bowl. But that is what is for dinner tonight. Hey guys, Brandy here. Welcome to Sewing Back. This is February 3rd, Friday, and this is what's for dinner. I'm getting it started in my Instapot, but I'm going to use it as a slow cooker. This is, let me read it. This is slow cooker, sweet and sour chicken thighs over rice. So I am just pulling everything together. I'm actually, I'm using chicken thighs. These don't have to be cut up. You use 2 pounds of chicken thighs, 1 small sliced onion. You need, it says 1 sliced red pepper, 1 sliced green pepper, and I'm just using some of my Azure tricolor pepper slices that are in the freezer. I need to use those, so we're going to use them. You need 1 20-ounce can of pineapple chunks with the juice, 1/4 cup of brown sugar. You need 1 clove of garlic crushed. You need 1/4 teaspoon of ground ginger, 2 tablespoons of cornstarch, 1/4 cup of vinegar cider. I used apple cider vinegar. 1/4 cup of water, a hefty tablespoon of soy sauce. I used tamari because that's what I had, and 1/2 teaspoon of salt. So we're gonna mix up our sauce. Then we're just gonna put our peppers, onions, and chicken thighs into the Instapot, crock pot thingy, whatever you want to call it, and we're gonna get this thing going. It says to drain your pineapple juice. So you want one of my chickens is laying an egg. You hear it. I hear. All right, so we're draining our pineapple juice. It says to save the pineapple you just mix it in at the end. So we got our pineapple juice, and I'm gonna add in, this has my 1/4 cup of apple cider vinegar as well as my 4th cup of water. And this is my nice heaping tablespoon of the other. We're going to use our big jar of garlic here. If I can get it open. There we go. I'm going to go heavy on the garlic because I have to agree with my son. We don't think that these, I don't know that I'll buy this again. I think I'll just buy the peeled cloves because it doesn't have a lot, you have to put a lot in there to get any flavor, in our opinion. All right, we need this ground ginger in here. And the ground ginger is 1/4 of a teaspoon. So I have a half. So we're just gonna fill it up halfway. Ginger's strong. So, all right. And then we're gonna put, we need about the same in salt. Actually, it says a half of a teaspoon in salt, so I did that. We need 2 tablespoons of cornstarch. And we need 1/4 of a cup of brown sugar. I can get my brown sugar open. So we have 1/4 of a cup of that. I'm just going to whisk all of this together. And so this is our sweet and sour, I guess, marinade, except you don't marinate it, you just pour it over it. So that was pretty easy. Not gonna lie, so far I'm digging this. I've already sliced up my onion. Like I said, I have a bag of the peppers, and I just gotta put my chicken thighs into my Instapot. So, hold on one sec. All right, we got our sauce right here. I'm gonna use my handy dandy scissors. I'm just gonna cut my chicken thighs open. These are skinless, boneless chicken thighs. All right, guys, I'm gonna try to mix this up just a little bit. Well, looks pretty good to me. All right, so we're going to turn on the slow cooker. It's on high. We want to do this. I'm going to do 3.5 hours. Actually, I'm going to do 3 hours. Oops. Well, we'll do 3. Well, I'll put 4 hours, but I'll check it. And I'm going to hit start. All right, guys, it's Friday night. And this is how our dish that we put in the crock pot, you can also do it in the Instapot, turned out. We just have some steamed broccoli. We have the sweet and sour chicken thighs and some rice that I made in bone broth. And that's what's for dinner. And we'll see you tomorrow night. We have not heard back yet from Zline. The last communication that we had was that based off of our information, our initial complaint, which we had an initial complaint March of last year, right after the kitchen got put in, and they told us to do something, and then it seemed like it worked, and so I thought it's been working correctly all this time. I honestly thought that my kitchen was getting so hot because of all the new insulation when they did the new back wall, and it just made sense to me. And so I never in a million years would have thought that there was a manufacturing defect in the door and that the door was not sealing properly to allow the oven to heat up properly. So essentially what has happened is I've been cooking on this oven for the last 10, 11 months. It burned out the heat element. And so that's why the oven's not functioning properly. I have a dual fuel, so I have gas on top and I have a convection regular electric oven on the bottom. And apparently this is a problem that this model, some of these I don't know if it's just this model or other models had. So they're going to replace the oven. We just don't know yet if they're going to come in and take the old one out, because it's like 250 pounds. It's very heavy. And it's hooked to a gas line and all that kind of stuff you have to have a plumber for. We had to pay for all that when we bought this. And so we're waiting to hear back because part of your warranty is over at a year. And we purchased this in October of 2021. Yeah, I believe it was October of 2021. We couldn't get it delivered until I think it came like a few days before Christmas of 2021. And then of course our kitchen remodel started in February. So, so we went a couple months before it was even installed from when we got it. But our purchase date was in October, which they know we didn't get it delivered, so I think they're willing to go to that part. So then they're like, well, you're kind of, part of it's out of warranty. And we're like, listen, we made it, as soon as we were using this oven, we had a complaint, which they did put together with this complaint, and they had to totally do with the same thing, except they never told us about the door, that the door could be not closing all the way. So we didn't know that, and because had we known that, we would have had that taken care of then. So I guess the issue we're waiting on is we're definitely getting a new, they're going to replace the unit. The issue is, are they going to take the old unit out and put in the new one? I don't think that they'll hook the gas line and stuff up. I think we're still going to have to do that, and I'm okay with that. But if they won't do that, then we're responsible for getting this stove out of our house and on some kind of pallet, which they have not specified, in our front yard, and essentially they will drop the other one in our driveway. And so we're gonna have to try to put that one in and all that. So that's what we're waiting for from Zline. I'm hoping that they take the high road, since we had an original complaint that was totally within the warranty period that included labor. So, and it's clearly a manufacturer defect. They can see it on the pictures that we took. We just didn't know that's what it was. And so that's what we're waiting on to find out. I figure we'll hear something on Monday, and either way, I think that the oven will be here sometime around President's Week. If everything holds. We know that they had this one in stock, and that it was supposed to be able to be shipped after 48 hours, but it would take 7 to 10 business days, something to that effect. So we will see, and I'm not fretting over it because I don't have any control over it. It's just going to be what it's going to be. But I'll definitely keep y'all posted, because some of you may be going to do a kitchen remodel and you want to know how Zline handles such things. And so And I'll tell you, I'll be honest with you. So, but anyway, so what I want to do now is I want to get my spiral ham in my Instapot, and I'm going to put this Dr. Pepper over the top, and we're just going to turn on low and slow, and I'm going to get my pizza going again. I barely got it to fit in there. The lid's not totally on it, but it's good enough. I've got it going. I turned it down. The temperature's low. And I'll check on this before I go to bed because it said on the packaging it's fully cooked. So if it looks good tonight, I'll take it out and just wrap it up, and we'll take it to church because we have big ovens and stuff. If they want to heat it up, they can, or they can serve it cold. I don't care. So anyway, one thing done. Okay guys, I peeled potatoes for my potato salad. I'm just dicing them up. These are some ginormous potatoes. But you just kind of want to have pieces like that. And that'll cook up real nice for our potato salad. Alright guys, so I got a bowl here. I have some mayo, some mustard, yellow mustard. I have some of my pepper grinder thing, but any kind of pepper will do. I'm going to use a little onion salt. You need some paprika and my secret sauce. And it doesn't have to be this brand. And a little goes a long way. But it is horseradish sauce. If you put a little bit of horseradish in it, it's a game changer for your potato salad. Heaping spoonfuls of the mayo. I'm just gonna do a little squirt there of the horseradish sauce. Ooh, potatoes. Ooh, hello. Not good. They're boiling over. Alright, we're gonna put a little squirt of mustard. I'm going to say that's probably about a teaspoon of onion salt. And I just grind it for a little bit. And then I'm going to put some paprika in here. Let's start out with, this is probably about a fourth of a teaspoon. And then I just mix all that up. And the whole thing about salt, you can never salt them enough. People can add salt later, so that's kind of, I don't over salt my potato salad. Potatoes are one of those things that's just never enough, and everybody has a different thermostat on that. That's good. So that's just kind of how I did it. That's real good. Potatoes. I always put the hot potatoes on top of the onion and the olives. I don't know why, I just do. And then I'm just kind of mixing everything up. I figure it softens the onion a little bit. And then I'm going to put my dressing on it in just a minute. And again, this is not real salty or anything because you can add salt, you can't take it away. And I've just never found with potatoes you can get them salt like the right. Everybody has a different view. And I'm taking this to a potluck. And we have all different ages in our church, but definitely some seniors and high blood pressure. So I didn't put a lot of salt. And our lasagna, after sitting in the refrigerator for how many days? How many days was that? We did that on Tuesday. It's Saturday. We thought that the noodles would soften in the liquid. Not so much. But we ate it.
I thought it was alright.
It was okay. Alright guys, it's Sunday night and we had a fellowship thing after church. As y'all knew, I made potato salad last night for it and a ham. And we got sent home with a lot of fried chicken. We have a little of the potato salad left over. We were missing a good bit of people. I think some people at our church have the flu and stuff. So we ended up with extra food today. So we're not eating pizza tonight. We will eat pizza tomorrow night. So that'll be in the following week's challenge. And because you got to be a good steward with what you've been given. And that's what we're doing. So this is what we're snacking on tonight for dinner. Honestly, we're not very hungry because we had a big meal right after church. So anyway, just wanted to share that. That's what's for dinner. I'll see you. Next week will be, I think it's week 6. Week 6. So we'll see you next week.